17 nice girl habits women must break. They say nice guys finish last. What if I told you the same goes for women too? It actually does. Being too nice can usually land you a spot in last place. If you're too nice, you give people leeway to treat you poorly when they shouldn't. Being too nice can also appear to be desperate and may resemble low self-confidence. In order to win more often, there should be a fine line between being nice and being the nice girl. When all you do is out of a desire to be nice, you can define yourself in ways that you shouldn't. So take a step back next time you catch yourself being nice. Are you doing it out of a genuine place of kindness, or are you doing it because you feel like you have to? If you're nice because you feel like you have to be, you're trying to gain some sort of approval from people. This is where it can seem you don't respect yourself or you aren't very confident. However, this isn't something that is too difficult to fix, and you'll thank yourself in the long run. Canceling plans to accommodate his schedule. It can be easy to want to drop everything and hang out with someone. I mean, you like them, so of course you want to spend time around them. However, this doesn't mean you should put this above everything else. When you do this, you send a message to the guy that you don't put yourself first. Someone who has respect for themselves and has their own things going on will prioritize their own boundaries before others. It may seem selfish, but it's actually not at all. Saying yes to sex too early. If you find yourself doing this, it's time to ask yourself a few tough questions. When you say yes to having sex too early, it could mean you're scared a guy will leave you if you don't give it up. However, if you aren't ready, you should never feel like you have to do something. There's no harm in waiting until you feel ready. Chances are that will make the first time that much more special and he'll respect you more. Giving unnecessary second chances. There is nothing wrong with giving second chances. In fact, it is an admirable quality to have. It means you aren't willing to give up on the ones you love so easily. However, it is important to discern when people are worthy of having a second chance. If you constantly give someone a second chance without considering yourself, then you're only allowing someone to walk all over you. Be mindful of the thin line between being nice and being too nice. Giving 100% and getting only 50%. Another thing to look out for is how much you're giving versus how much you're receiving. In a relationship, things should feel somewhat equal. Even if one person tends to give a little more than the other, there should still be a feeling that things are balanced. If you're giving too much of yourself to someone, this can look and feel desperate. It's like you're giving but don't seem to be getting anything in return. This could mean the guy isn't very interested in you, which is definitely a sign to pump the brakes. Thinking too far ahead. When you're really into someone, it can be easy to begin imagining a future with them. However, if you do this too early on, it could actually be damaging to a relationship and even scare a man off. Instead of seeing the relationship for what it is, you'll be caught in the idea of what things could be. This could cause you to ignore things that shouldn't be ignored by always romanticizing the idea in your head. Being a yes man. This goes along with being nice out of feelings like you have to, and can even be detrimental to your well-being. When you say yes out of feeling pressured, you take away some of your value. It makes you feel like you always have to be there and say yes, or else the guy won't like you as much. If you practice saying no, you'll feel more confident and will feel like you're standing up for your own life. Not accepting a compliment. If someone gives you a compliment, yet you cannot seem to accept it or believe it to be true, you're actually displaying a lack of self-esteem. Whenever a guy compliments you, try accepting it and saying thank you, as if you already knew it to be true. This will help him see that you're confident in what you bring to the table, trying to be someone you're not. If you're afraid to be who you truly are, you cannot allow someone the space to get to know you for you. By pretending to be someone you're not, there's no way you can enjoy the relationship fully either. All of your efforts will be focused on trying to be someone else instead of showing up as who you are. This can also make you appear to be flaky, as you'll constantly be trying to fit the mold of others around you, allowing him to make all the decisions. While men typically like to seem like they know what they're talking about, it isn't good to let them do all of the talking. For instance, if you step in every once in a while to make a decision, it will show him that you can take charge just as much as him. Guys like a girl that can think for herself and isn't afraid to take the reins every now and then. Biting your tongue to keep peace. There's a difference in keeping the peace and sacrificing yourself for the sake of it. If you feel the need to say something, don't hold back because you're too scared or you're trying to be polite. Men will respect you a lot more if you show that you're someone who has their own opinions and isn't afraid to speak up on them. Apologizing for things that aren't your fault. When you're being a doormat, you typically feel the need to say sorry for things that don't really need to be apologized for. For example, you might find yourself apologizing for communicating your feelings. Although some things are difficult to talk about and can potentially cause others to get upset, this doesn't mean you should neglect speaking up for yourself and your feelings. If you do speak up, you might find yourself saying sorry for bringing something up in the first place. This is a sign you're being too nice or considering someone else too much without asserting yourself. By breaking this nice girl habit, you'll have more of a backbone and be able to show men how to treat you by communicating your feelings. Feeling bad for choosing self-care above all. When you're too nice, it can sometimes feel like you need to take care of everyone else's needs before you even do anything for yourself. This is the opposite of true. In fact, you should put yourself first always. While it is good to be selfless, there's a difference in compromising yourself for others and being selfless out of kindness. You should by no means compromise putting your needs last or feel bad for putting your self-care first. Never breaking the rules. While you don't need to become a bad girl, there's nothing wrong with breaking the rules from time to time. In fact, you should break the rules from time to time. For instance, if a man wants to make out with you really quickly before the elevator doors open, you should most definitely do this. If you fail to never do anything like this, your relationship could grow static and boring, dressing too conservatively. Although it isn't necessary for you to walk around showing off an excessive amount of cleavage, you shouldn't be afraid of stepping outside of your comfort zone every now and then. For example, you might find yourself wearing the same things all of the time that really do nothing for you. By changing your wardrobe a little bit, you can break out of the nice girl stereotype a little more. Instead of wearing the same boring and bland clothes, you might begin wearing clothes that accentuate your body or reveal a little bit of your neck or shoulders. In addition to this, you could even add accessories like a necklace and earrings. In doing this, you're likely to draw the attention of men more and break your conservative ways, allowing someone to treat you poorly. When you fail to stand up for yourself, this shows guys that they can treat you poorly. Instead of allowing someone to walk all over you in fear that they won't value you if you stand up for yourself, you should assert yourself and show people how to treat you. In fact, you'll likely be valued more if you do this. Taking criticism too harshly. While it's okay to be sensitive to criticism, someone who's too much of a nice girl will take this criticism as a defining factor. In other words, she'll believe the criticisms to be true about herself without making her own judgments as well. She might also feel like criticisms can be the end of the world. This is definitely a nice girl habit to break if you want to live without taking things too much to heart all of the time. Feeling the need to be happy 24/7. If you're someone who's generally a happy and positive person, there's nothing wrong with that. However, when you feel obligated to be happy all of the time and it's your only emotion, this becomes a problem. Life is hard. No one can be expected to be happy every moment of every day. If you find yourself feeling the need to be happy, it could be that you feel somewhat obligated to be happy for the sake of others. For example, you might feel other people rely on you to be happy, so you have to be this way. In reality, this is not true at all. While people can be influenced by joy and positivity, it does not mean they need you to put on a face in order to live up to who they think you are. Well, are you feeling confident in your ability to change? These habits are nothing to be ashamed of, as it's likely you come from a place of love. However, these habits could be harming you more than you might think. By changing these few nice girl habits, you'll just see how much more empowered you feel in your life and in your relationships.